Hi, this is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing Today. I'm in the offices of Lance Loveday, the author of a brand new book entitled Web Design for ROI. And Lance, what I want to do today is talk with you about this concept of designing your website with ROI, or return on investment, in mind. I mean, a lot of us, most people who watch this interview will already have a website. Maybe they're on website number 2 or 3 by this time. You know, it's redesign. Typical way you do a website is you'd start at your home page and then work down to your sectional pages and maybe your product pages, and then maybe your landing page, and then your order system, something like that. Now, how does a return on investment approach to this whole thing work?
Well, it sort of turns that model on its head and asks that you really start by figuring out exactly what it is you want your site to accomplish. And in the case of an e-commerce site, for example, very simple example most people understand. What we do with the ROI approach is we take a look at the different traffic patterns that are flowing throughout the website, and we look through the analytics and sort of map it out and create a little bit of a sales funnel. We say, this many people make it through the home page, this many people make it through the category pages, the product pages, the shopping cart, and so on. And we try to understand those areas that have the highest drop-off, percentage-wise at least. And then we model out or forecast different scenarios based on what kind of improvement we think we can make to that page. If, say, a home page has 60% abandonment rate, right off the bat, the bounce rate, if we think, with some really effective design and usability enhancements, we can get that down to 40%. Well, what we've just done is we have just increased the throughput on that site by 50%. If all other things remain equal, then arguably sales could increase by as much as 50%. And you say, well, that's pretty good, but if we only look at the home page, we might miss some higher return opportunities. So, for example, we might look in the shopping cart and say, oh my gosh, between step 2 and 3, 60% of people leave.
So, really, metrics are key to your approach.
Absolutely.
It's not just take a good guess and build a nice-looking website. You're really studying the metrics of this.
Exactly right. Exactly.
So the home page might be important. If you were to say, what's the most important page for return on investment on a website, where do you look at something like that?
Well, it's hard to generalize, but I tell you, having gone through a number of sites, reviewed a number of sites in the course of our work, the shopping cart seems to contain a lot of the lowest hanging fruit that we've seen out there.
Like what? What do you mean by that?
Well, like the registration page quite often is where a lot of users tend to abandon the site. And so you'll see this nice, smooth sales funnel if you look at how people flow through the site graphically. And then all of a sudden, they'll hit one page in the shopping cart, and it really narrows down where a lot of people drop off. And it has a lot to do with how shopping carts have been constructed historically, where registration was required. And just the use of that word, registration, causes red flags for some people.
So don't require registration.
Exactly right. And we actually have had a couple examples where we've just changed the terminology. And you don't actually even change the fields you're asking for, the order that you ask them in, or any of that. But just by changing how you refer to it, such that there isn't the appearance of asking for registration, actually increases your sales.
So you're saying looking at your shopping cart or your form that you're collecting leads on, or whatever it is, that's really important from a return on investment standpoint.
Well, it often has a higher return than looking at more visible aspects of your site, like the homepage, for example.
So if I've got a limited number of dollars, and everybody watching this has a limited number of dollars to work with, I want to work on what's going to get me the most bang for my buck.
Yeah. That's our approach at the end of the day, is to figure out ahead of time where you think you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. And in many cases, it's not going to be the more visible or more obvious elements. It's going to be the stuff that you tend to think about less, like your forms, your shopping cart, things like that.
So if I were trying to figure out a return on investment approach to my website, how would I figure the return on investment from time, money spent on improving the home page versus a sectional page versus a landing page or an ordering system, a shopping cart? How do you determine return on investment for something like that?
Well, it's definitely part art, part science. You know,
Okay.
you can definitely, ballpark how much time, how much effort you're going to put into a particular redesign area of the site, and then you have to ballpark too a range of returns that you might see on it. And so you might say, well, we really think we can double our conversion rate on our lead generation form, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If you're successful with that, you're going to generate twice as many leads as you were previously. And in most cases, that of course is going to come back with a positive return as you forecast out the amount of effort required. And you're going to say, well, gosh, that's a no-brainer.
So you do some kind of what ifs,
right,
and calculate out, if this, then we could get that kind of result.
Right.
Do some kinds of scenarios like that and determine then, part of it's guess, but part of it is an educated guess of
Right.
what's going to get you the most bang for your buck.
Right, exactly right. And what we do is we try to map out multiple scenarios. We sort of at least say low, medium, and high. We think we can at least get to this level. And more than likely we can probably get to this level as the medium estimate. And if we really blow the doors off it, we think we might be able to as much as, say, double or triple the current performance. And then see what your outcome is if you hit each of those estimates. And more often than not, even if you only hit the low estimate, that investment is going to pay for itself very quickly.
All right. So return on investment when you're designing a website, or redesigning in the case of most of us, really is an important way to approach the whole thing. Well, thank you for talking with us about this. Tell me a little bit about your business. What's the name of your business, Lance?
It's closed loop marketing.
And what do you do?
Well, we, at a high level, we help people drive more qualified traffic to their website, primarily via search, both organic search engine optimization and paid search. And then we help them convert more of that traffic into sales or leads or whatever their objective is by applying a lot of these usability and conversion marketing design best practices.
So your specialty really is the conversion and usability sort of end of things, really trying to help people improve that, I gather.
Correct.
Well, thanks for taking time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Lance Loveday, and this is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing.